Alrighty, friends, before we return to Joker's daily life for a good little while here, I did Velvet Rune things, and now I'm going to show you the personas that resulted from that, at least. This is Parvati, this is the one she's the one I'm going to be using mostly, I would say. We look at all those maxed stats, I do believe those are maxed. I'm not sure what the bars mean, or even what most of the stats mean, or do, or what. It's 61, I think it's like 3 levels high, she's like 3 levels higher than me, and it's probably because, as you can see, she is a Lovers, which is On's Arcana, and I maxed out On's Social Link, I think first. Was it? Yeah, I think it was hers first, and then Ryuji. But anyway. The other reason I'm using her so much is, well, she's weak to dark, but she repels. Bufu is strong to Sai, and is also strong to light, which is very nice. And no other weaknesses. No weaknesses would be great. And also, I bet there's going to be a lot of things that use dark at some point, if it hasn't already been. And I'm kind of hoping it's been more of a thing earlier in the game, because I'm probably going to be using her for a while. But regardless, I'm at a point where it's not really been hard, any fight. I don't know exactly why, but I've been able to just breeze through most fights. I think I just know the game enough. Now, there's been some harder points earlier. Like, my initial thought is Kanashiro's boss fight was a fun bitch, frankly. Let's call it what it is. But the other reason I'm using her so much is she has a nice coverage of the skills that, I probably will use. The team I've got now, Makoto, Haru, and for the rest of the game, be surrounded by hot badass bitches, badass ladies, badass girls, including my girlfriend, just 2 other kick-ass girls. I love them very much. Words and things. Honestly, unless I feel like unless like there's an obvious gameplay reason, like there was during Kanashiro's fight, that I need certain elements that I might not have because whoops or whatever. I'll be using those 3. So she's got Cyodyne, so I could actually let Haru go and Yusuke it up for a while. I'm actually thinking I might do that. We'll see. Let's say that, but Yusuke is also covered. So, switching to... actually, wait, I'm pretty sure I've got, the others covered too, but yeah, she's got Wind, Sai, Bufu, so nice coverage, and also, you could always, if something's weak to Sai, you could, for example, smack it with a Cyodyne and then pass it to Haru and she can follow up. So that it is actually good to have the element of you already have, but having all the elements covered by the team at least has always been a happy strategy I've employed. And if I need to, just blocking until I get to the person with the weakness element to keep getting 2 hold-ups as easily as possible. Anywho, I've also got Scotty. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Stats, Derg, not X button, square button. Yeah, she's got my Maega on, so she's got me covered on the darkness side. She's also got a really, I remember, this is a really powerful ice spell, because it came from one of the DLC personas. I think it was something Picaro, I don't remember what it was. But yeah, some really mean skills here, actually, including this physical skill. Severe fidge damage, powers up after a baton pass. So I think it's actually better than Yusuke's version of that, because I don't think it's severe on his end. I'll have to see, because I know he gets an upgrade and it's like medium at first, I think. And then it goes to high or whatever it's called in this game, but yeah, this just is severe, so it's mean. But it might be severe in his case, I'd have to look. But yeah, Megon, very nice. Fear boost as well. Didn't I have some Let's see here. Yeah, she's got Endure, yeah, with Parvati. Revives with 1 HP when KO'd. That's one of the main reasons I probably want to have her on so much. Other than also just she's very good all around for a lot of reasons. Gravakala is really just there to be a moon persona because I would like to max out Mishima once I definitely have a good bit of coffee in my repertoire. I also might just start making curry and see what happens. I'm really just going to like do him and then maybe start Kawakami, and then in the afternoon I'll do someone probably. But anyway, Yamato no Orochi, one-shot kill, very powerful gun damage, gun skill, and gun boost too. So that one-shot kill is gonna probably live up to its name a lot more than it already would, you know, just by itself. So that'll be very fun. Forget boost increases chance of inflicting forget with this Makajama here, and freeze boost from Mufudai. So it's got all its skills jacked up. Oh, and also it's strong, drain, strong. No, oh man, that honestly, I might start with this one for kind of obvious reasons. I didn't realize it was so much more powerful than Parvati. I think the reason I was gonna play with Parvati on my mask mostly for a while was the fact that she had the Endure, but yeah, it's pretty obvious, especially with the higher level, that this thing's a mega beast, and it's got all its skills jacked up. Now, granted, it's not going to have the elemental power that she's going to have, but, I can always just, you know, I'm just going to R1 and do that anyway, so, but to start off battles, I'm always going to have him around, and I might use that gun damage a lot as long as something isn't immune to it, just because it can probably shred so many things. We'll see though. We'll see if in practice that holds up, that theory holds up. Anyway, I've blabbed enough for the moment, so let us go ahead and head back. Oh yeah, that's right, yeah, return to the real world, because I want to save up for his SP items that are pricey. And you can only do that within a memento strip, so, yeah, reach the Adisek? Man, there's so many ways I feel like you could pronounce that. If anyone knows how to pronounce that, let me know in the comments. And also, kudos for the, what is that called? There's a specific word, I think, for the, or phrase, for the word or phrase, I'm not sure which, I don't remember at all, but there's like, what's it called? But it's like that thing where you try to phonetically type out the word, like, man, I can't even explain what I mean right now. I'm kind of brain dead right now, in some ways, in other ways I'm not, though, which feels good. Hey, but yay, I'm back, yay. Alright, friends. So, the question is what do tonight? I'd like to have SP items out the butt, but, hey, for the next palace. So, actually, well, mementos will be nice as well, and there's gonna be size mementos, so, yeah, I am gonna do that. We'll see. Let's see here. Mishima! Hey. Oh, yeah, that's right. We can't Mishima, so yeah. The only option, as far as I'm concerned, is make actually... Hey! Oh, that's right. And... I'm just gonna experiment with making the curry at all, because I know that's another SP item. I'm probably... I'm gonna see what happens if I just keep making curry. Because I have not touched that. And I'm just gonna see what happens if I just make the curry. And what it is comparatively to the coffee. And if I should keep making it or not. Anyway. Did you see that they changed the questionnaire on the fan side again? Do you think the fan of thieves are innocent? It's funny that people make a big deal out of it. Of course they're not innocent, they're wanted, so they'd be arrested on the spot. Well, thanks for the coffee. Well, is what we're doing really a crime, though? Because I'm pretty sure that the laws of Japan in this setting do not have anything about going into people's minds and altering the way that they think, basically. Because, you know, to most people, still, that probably sounds like bullshit instead of something that actually happens, but in this universe it actually happens. So, yeah, it's... You know, I don't know, it just kind of seems convenient that everyone's like, oh, they're criminals, but there's gotta be someone questioning if that's even illegal. Or even if that could be illegal. Something that people don't know the method behind, and all that they know is that the person gets a calling card, and then the person changes normally for the better. Now, granted, there's also, earlier in the game, it didn't make sense, but they still were, like, treated as criminals, basically, by a lot of people. And, of course, they called themselves thieves, but they weren't stealing anything tangible, and they were actually righting wrongs. Now, granted, they were also ruining the lives of the people that they changed the hearts of, but a lot of people would say that they deserved that, and I would also be on that side. And then there's cases like Futaba, where the change was completely positive for her. So, yeah, I mean, of course, if we used it for stuff like that, period, then I bet we couldn't even question that. It'd be interesting if this game was actually about helping people like Futaba instead of going against people like the rest of the palace people. I'd love to play a game like that, just a game helping people with their psychological problems with these kind of powers. And of course, you could always weave a plot into anything like that, but I think that, like, having all these big world-ending antagonists and stuff like that isn't always needed. I remember a conversation about the Atelier series that was had with a streamer that I love. His name is Lore Runner. I've mentioned him before on my channel. And one of his viewers, who is a huge fan of the series. And he's not a fan of the series. He likes JRPGs, but the Atelier series is interesting if you're not aware. The Atelier, and I will definitely play some Atelier games on the channel. I've never actually played one. I want to. I've played them pieces, but I've never actually sat down and played a whole Atelier game. And when you say play a single-player game like that, I think that what you should mean is that you finished it. So I'm working on that, and I definitely will be playing through some of those on the channel, because I'm really interested in them. And I really want to go through them, and there's some wholesomeness and all sorts of cool stuff in there. However, the Atelier series is, you know, you're an alchemist. The main character is always an alchemist, and a lot of the game revolves around making items and potions and, you know, items and consumables and your gear and everything using basically a puzzle-based alchemy system. It's a very interesting thing. And, you know, and gathering materials to do that as well. You know, aside from that, there's also, like, regular JRPG combat as well. And people have argued that, and apparently a lot of people, according to this huge fan of the series that I mentioned, pretty sure this person was female, but I don't know, so I'm just gonna say they to be sure. But, you know, they said that, you know, that there's this long-standing sentiment among the fan base that, the combat should be gone. And the game should all be just be about the alchemy, and then going and doing stuff, and then, you know, your conflict, you know, your villain could be like this evil alchemist that's just making stuff too, but it's bad stuff. And maybe I don't remember exactly what the conversation was, but, like, basically the point was, and I think they had some pretty good ideas about it too, but the point of the conversation was Atelier doesn't need the Atelier series, or Atelier, or however you want to call that. But I do believe that Atelier is the way it's pronounced, at least in the English voice acting, which I find odd. But anyway, because I think, isn't it supposed to be called Atelier? I think it really is supposed to be pronounced Atelier or something like that. But anyway, the point was that the series did not need the combat. That the JRPG combat, you know, it feels tacked on. It feels not needed. And there's so much you could do instead with the depth of the alchemy stuff and the exploration stuff, and the social interaction stuff. And your quests could be about gathering things and making things for people. And, you know, there doesn't have to be this big conflict that's super cliche JRPG combat-y. It doesn't need to be like that. But anyway, I kind of feel like games like Persona could be similar. Like, you could still fight things in Persona games. Like, of course, duh. But I'd really like to see a Persona game where the conflict is not about some super evil person or whatever that you're going against. But it's instead, you know, because, you know, the series has been based on psychology anyway, right? So, I'm thinking that, like, you know, there could be a Persona game, or at least a Persona-esque game. You know, like, I really like to be part of developing a Persona-esque game where it's all about positively changing the psychology of people, and you're fighting their inner demons, basically. And it's based on similar Jungian psychology and everything, just like in this game. And there's a lot of positive messages about, you know, how to deal with the world and everything, and etc. But, you know, there doesn't have to be some big villain. It can really just be all about changing people, and also, like, just more personal, everyday conflicts. I'd really like to write something like that. At least. I will definitely write a low-level type of setting like that, where it's fantasy, but it doesn't have to be all epic. But the thing is I love that big-scale epic stuff. And that's a huge draw to fantasy, but it doesn't need to be, you know? Anyway, but yeah, let's try to make some curry and see what that does, because I've just been making the coffee because I'm like, ooh, an SP item. It gives 100 now because it's Master Coffee. And you know the main reason I was holding off on curry? Because I'm pretty sure that similar to the Master Coffee, you need to make a lot of curry in order to get to Master Curry, which is the best curry. And I'm afraid that the curry might be less good than the coffee until I get it to Master Curry, because I have Master Coffee now. And it's just going to be regular curry. But we'll see what the effect is, and I'll judge that. And that's another thing I can do and look into while I'm passing these 19 days. It looks like the chief made curry. I doubt there are leftover ingredients. Okay, it looks like you can only make it every once in a while anyway. So, it must be actually a pretty powerful item then. I'll have to keep an eye on that instead of not. Because I know that's a thing. Anyway, I'm going to try making some coffee. Heck yeah! Looks like you're really getting into your job now. Wanna try taking over the shop? Well, whatever. I'm loving all of the... You know, gradually, the more that you make coffee, he changes his tune slowly throughout the game. The more coffee you make. In fact, I bet that it's pretty easy to not get all of those dialogues by not making near as much coffee as I do. Which again, really great attention to detail that they bothered, because a lot of people will probably balance things a little bit more than I did, you know. Do more things besides make coffee than I do. I love the smell of good coffee. Yep, it's good shiznit, man.
Yes, alright.
When you're drinking, it makes it look delicious. Nice start coffee, and you get 2 of them each time as well, which is very handy and nice. Looks like Chef's Dylan Charms from Wack. I always read that out of habit because I'm used to reading most of the game out of habit, right? But it's... Oh, okay. It's fruity aroma. I stopped it in time for the, his description, this time, so that feels good. By the way, I didn't feel like I said that line well. I want to, like, practice voice acting, sort of, as I go through this. It's just something I want to do, so... This fruity aroma... I'm trying to think, how do I feel like that should be said? Because I almost feel like it should be said a little different, but I'm not sure exactly how. This fruity aroma. Something like that. I'll have to think about that. I feel like it's also... It does sound sort of wrong to me. I don't know why, though. I'll have to think about why. This is Salvadoran Pacamara. Pacamara? Something like that.
Let me
I
explain.
might be pronouncing that name wrong, but Pacamara. It sounds like that might be right, too. Let me know if you think... let me know if you know what the pronunciation of that word should be. I'm pretty sure Salvadoran is right, though. But if it isn't, let me know, friends. Today, over 50% of all exports from El Salvador are coffee. Pacamara... Oh, interesting. Pacamara is a hybrid coffee unique to El Salvador. Pacamara comes from a hybrid plant that produces high amounts of large-sized coffee beans. Interesting. It has a dense body with chocolate notes.
Yeah.
Yay, we did good! Although, at this point, you know, we've practiced so much, how could we not? Although I don't think practice is really enough sometimes, especially if you have some learning difficulties and some performance. Some, like, if you're like me, there's some people, and this might sound pretty party, you know, but it's just, I've noticed that maybe I'm not as near as alone about this, or as semi-alone about this than I possibly think I am. And I know that I'm not actually alone, and that there are other people with similar problems. There has to be. But I don't really know if I've heard of very many, except for people that have severe mental stuff, which I don't think I really qualify as severe. But, well, to a degree I sort of do, but... never mind. But, like... At least I feel like I do. At least, like, the severity of my ADHD feels really high up there. But anyway. And the severity of my Asperger's as well, though I'm still high-functioning, clearly. But anyway, definitely severity of my ADHD, if nothing else. But, it might just be amplified by the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm also an HSP, which is, if you're not aware, it's basically like a genetic marker where you just feel more than other people. It's just, especially physical sensations and, like, emotional stuff. You feel them a lot more. And a lot of time, or at least that's me, although other highly sensitive people have other heightened senses, but mine is touch. But anyway, like, I always have these strange sensations in my body constantly that I try to describe to people, and they're like, what? I don't feel like that ever. And I think it's just I'm so heightened that I feel these kinds of things. And there's all sorts of, I get overwhelmed easily and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, what I was talking about was, a lot of times I feel like, well, I've not even as much just feel like it, but I've noticed that there are some emotional states and mental states that I can get in very, 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 very unfortunately easily that completely hinder my ability to do anything until I'm out of that mental state. And during those times, which again, they're very easily to get into, practice doesn't matter, experience doesn't matter, knowledge doesn't matter until I get back to a better state of mind. It's just everything I know and have practiced goes at least a little bit out the window, if not entirely. Okay, the more I think about it, the more I know I'm being pessimistic, and that, like, overly pessimistic, and that it's not quite that it doesn't matter, but it feels like, observing other people, although I might be wrong about this. And I don't think I observe other people over, near as much as maybe a lot of other people do, actually. But maybe it's literally just I have this lens that is very self-critical. But, and that's really all this is, maybe. But I just feel like there are specific acute things that make it harder for me to do things no matter how much I practice them. Like, right now, I'd say I'm doing okay with the commentary, but I definitely feel like I could be rambling less. But, I'm doing this mostly for my own mental health, except for just to enjoy something and also to hopefully help someone or just at least entertain someone, or at least make people think and, be interested and intrigued and maybe learn something and maybe, feel validated, or what have you, And the more I think about it, like, that's not really a marker of, like, how bad or good I'm doing at doing my commentary and at playing, and at doing Let's Playing, but, anyway. But, like, there are definite, like, yes, last night, I recorded that first, last night, this is actually a good example of this. Last night I recorded that first clip in this episode where I was showing you the personas that I'd made, and then I realized, okay, no, I'm not in a good place to record right now. And now I'm recording today and I'm in a better place to record. That's what I'm talking about. And that happens to me a lot. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, wow, we can read for the first time in a while. I don't really need to read any of these things, though, do I? I guess I could read all of these touristy books, because I have max everything as far as my skills go, right? So...
Hey!
That book is about Asakusa, right? You don't already know about that area, don't you? You already know about that area, don't you? Wait, whoops, okay.
Alright.
Okay, it looks like, okay, I could just sift through these until I find one that actually matters. Okay, it looks like this one is new. A Bible for shrine lovers.
Wow.
Meiji Shrine, huh? Seems like a mystical place. I wonder what exactly you can do there. I bet you can invite peeps there. But who, Mado? Okay, so yeah, I'll just go through these touristy ones and also pick up any of the other touristy ones or ones that give bonuses that actually don't have anything to do with increasing my skills. Like, increasing the effectiveness of studying is for raising your knowledge, right? Except I'm not exactly sure that's exactly what that means, but that makes the most sense to me as to what that means. I might have to read that one later to see if what that means, but I'm pretty sure, like, that'd be the only thing. Like, it gives you more pips, which I do not need because I have everything maxed out now. But anyway, I do not know if I read the last message, so I'll read it again. It's a famous spiritual spot, well known for its walking paths. Quiet places like that seem nice. I bet you'd really be able to relax if you took someone there with you. You know, I'd like to see if you can bring Makoto there, and I'd like to go ahead and have a date with her, because you can definitely go on dates with your girlfriend, and it's very cute. You know, it's a little fun little side thing that I definitely want to do at least once or twice. So, you finished reading Tokyo Shrines. Apparently, the Meiji Shrine has its own train station. That's how popular that place is. But yeah, new area. A verdant oasis in the city, home to the vast grounds of Meiji Shrine. Pray your heart out. The busiest New Year shrine in all Japan. Has a reputation as a power spot.
Alright.
Now, information on a new hangout spot, Meiji Shrine. You can also invite people who may like it there to hang out with you. I really wonder if Makoto would be at all interested whatsoever. I have a feeling she wouldn't be, but I'd also really like to see what she has to say about the place. I hope so, frankly. We'll see. I'll definitely see next time I can go hang out with her, but anyway. Next time I end up wanting to. One of these afternoons I'll probably see what I can do. And for the moment, as far as book reading goes on these trains, I'll make sure in the after-school periods of time that I have any new tourist books that I haven't bought yet. Furthermore, you can go by yourself to pay homage to the shrine if you wish. Also, in the afternoons, I think I'm still going to focus on, I'm going to remember as best I, I'm absolutely going to remember to get personas, at least I'm probably just gonna buy the highest level persona that I can, that's of the Arcana of everyone I haven't maxed out, and just go try to max them all out, basically. Or at least, you know, one at a time, again. I'm gonna start with Yusuke, because I'm pretty sure I'm still not maxed as far as he's concerned, so I'll have to make sure I have an Emperor persona. And, Mishima is for the evenings, until I've got him maxed, and then I think I'll focus on Yoshida after him. Especially because I think Yoshida's gonna be around for a little while. It's the main reason I'm just doing Mishima for now. But anyway, you know, you should take someone there with you sometime. Though I guess you could always go alone if you wanted to pray or make a wish for something. I really do wonder what I could do there alone. I'm guessing it is possible in-game if he's telling you this. And exactly how you do that, actually. We'll see. Oh, we're almost at the station. I'd say that was an efficient use of your time. Like, you just go on the map and go there? We'll see. We'll see.
Good morning.
Good morning, Akechi. Fuck you. I'm not listening to anything you have to say. Oh, wow. I'm not even caring about what options I choose because I don't give a fuck about anything you have to say, you lying, cheating, evil bastard. Okay.
That's disappointing.
Yes, you are disappointing, Mr. Inui. And so is Akechi. Fuck him. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm being kind of mean today. I don't actually mean to be mean to every character. Like, and the sheer amount of venom I'm spitting Akechi there. I mean, although granted, that's kind of like part of like my shtick, I guess, here. But anyway, I've been a teacher for 20 years now, but this has been the craziest year of my career. There were those incidents in April, then the Phantom Thieves and the principal. Yes, as you young folk might say, the situation is indeed quite whack. Stop trying to use slang, please. Ow, that hurts my ears. I noticed there's such a joke about that. In so much media, there's always that one old person that tries to be hip, and it's great. Perhaps you're wondering why I used such hip terminology. Maybe you should stop. That's all I really know about that. Now then, Durgan-kun.
Let's see how
The word Wack was originally part of a code used by ancient thieves. Interesting. And again, relates right back to our situation, conveniently, like every other thing talked about in class. Or maybe, like, in lore, these are the only things we actually pay attention to. And that's why we only really see, like, one teacher a day. And the reason we pay attention to them is because they have something to do with what we're actually interested in and what we're doing right now. I never thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, can you tell the meaning of the word Wack in Thieves' Cant? A share of stolen goods.
This is it.
Not
Correct.
bad.
You know a lot about this, do you? I dare say you must be pretty whack yourself. Yeah, I totally don't have anything to do with the Phantom Thieves or anything. Anyway, I'm joking, of course. Still, you must be quite diligent in your studies. Oh, thank God. Thieves of olden days might have worked in groups, but at the end of the day, they all expected to get their cut. If you wanted your part of a haul of riches your group stole, you would demand your whack, you see. Whoa, he actually knew that. Maybe I should ask if I can borrow his notes.
Nice going.
Wow, you must be really smart. Thank you, wow. It's always like the same thing. But and yeah, I get a knowledge point I don't need. Clearly the game wants you to prioritize social links, but I prioritize those. And I'm guessing I never really thought about it that way before, but it makes a lot of sense that the game just wants you to prioritize social links, considering how much it keeps feeding you ways to get points, sometimes automatically like this, into your social stats. And that makes a lot of sense as to why I do not have very many people maxed at all, but I just wanted to focus on the stats and who I wanted to max, and I think, actually going through the other confidants and maybe doing a max social links run and that kind of thing would be something I might do on a live stream later, once I have a bit more of a following and peeps want to see Durgenströms. I might just go ahead and do a max social links run and chill with y'all during that. If today's youth are freely using thieves' cant to each other in broad daylight, then truly, we live in whack times indeed. I didn't know that, and I wonder how true that is in real life, but that's an interesting factoid. Although, I say I didn't know that, but I probably heard this before, unless I was skipping so hard past all of this stuff when I actually played Royal first. Actually, I skipped so much when I first played Royal to try to just get to the new part until I burnt myself out and didn't end up getting to the third semester anyway, that it's actually very, very probable that I just didn't care. I've been listening to a lot of teenagers, but I'm not sure I've ever heard them say that. That's pretty old terminology, and that's probably the joke, too. People don't really say whack anymore. That was more like an early 2000s thing, right? Or something like that, anyway. Still, he's early 2000s meaning, the decade 2000s. Because we're in the... Actually, no, we're in the 2020s now. We were in the 2010s. I was about to say we're in the 2010s. I'm apparently about 2 years in the past now, but anyway. I'm ashamed to correct him. But yeah, I think that's a joke, is he's so behind the times that he doesn't realize people don't really say whack anymore.
Hey.
And I wonder if that's a thing in Japan at all, or if there was a different terminology in the Japanese version, and then when they localized it they used whack because it's another older term, similar to the Japanese term maybe, that was actually referenced here. I hope Big Clingy does a Persona 5 Let's Play. I think he will eventually. And by the way, Big Clingy is one of my big inspirations for being a Let's Player. I love his stuff. He goes really in depth and researches the heck out of these games. And I really wonder if, and he also really researches, what the Japanese version means, because he's also bilingual and knows Japanese, and actively practices and speaks Japanese, so he would probably be able to tell me that in his Let's Play, so I'm really excited to see a lot of that stuff. Anyway, 16 days left until we send the calling card.